Hello and welcome back to another out of spec detailing video here from Clear Detailing in Northern Colorado. Next to me here we have my brand new Kia EV6. If you guys have been keeping up with the channel, you know I have started my long-term ceramic coating test where we're testing 10 different ceramic coatings on the paint, 4 different ceramic coatings on the wheels, and 2 different ceramic coatings on the glass. And today is going to be our first wash for any of these coatings. We recently just got a snowstorm here, literally today. I'm actually leaving on a trip, so the car's got some water spots. It's not super filthy, but it's got some dirt and grime, and I figured I don't just want to leave those water spots on here for over a week and a half or so, so I needed to do a quick little bath on this. Now it's been exactly 6 days since we coated the paint with 10 different ceramic coatings as well as the glass. So I'll be going through talking about each little section. We're just going to do a very quick wash video here. So join me for our first wash and hydrophobics test. All right guys, so I just quickly want to show you around the car. I'm not going to go through every single coating. We'll talk about that when it gets to hydrophobics. Just know we have a ton of different ceramic coatings on this car. So paint, we have 10 different ceramic coatings. You'll see areas like this have something like Armor Detail Supplies quartz coating. In the center here, we have Armor Detail Supplies Pro coating, Pan the Organizers coating, Geon Infinite Base Type 1. Down here we have Geon Mo's. Here we've got Crystal Serum Light, and then Crystal Serum Light with EXO over here, Atoms over here. So just to give you the gist, we've got a lot going on. We've also got our glass coating test and our wheel coating test going on at the same time. So like I said, this car's a little dirty. We had our first snowstorm here. It's been roughly 6.5 days since I actually completed coating the entire car. I've left it intentionally outside. It's been quite warm here, so the coating should be at the point of fully cured. Most say around 2 weeks, but this is reality. I'm not going to leave this car inside to fully cure for 14 days. I actually need to drive this car on a daily basis. We got our first snowstorm here, and which means we've got a little dirt and grime on the car. Now it's not terrible, but you can see in the barrels here, definitely got a little bit of dirt. The spokes are actually looking really nice. Barrels picking up a lot. A little bit of dirt down the side, just some general water spotting. And again, I really don't want to leave this on here and potentially spot these coatings. That's why we're just going to do a nice little pH neutral wash, which will also give us the time to check out the hydrophobics on each one of these coatings. And you can see back here, definitely a little bit more dirt and grime, which is pretty normal. These areas back here, always the hardest, especially on the EV6 here in terms of dirt and grime. Our window test will be interesting, and I'm already noticing some huge differences. So on this side, we've got Atoms graphene glass coating. On this side, we've got Armor Detail Supplies. Now back here, they look quite even. I tried to actually film a little clip of this today, but driving home at night, this side was quite clear. You'll see a little bit of water spotting in here. You can kind of focus on it. There we go. Stay focused. So you'll see that. It's not as bad though as the Armor Detail Supply side, which I'm really intrigued as to why that's the case. I don't know if you can see this. Just generally, I can see a strip down the side of the window. That side is clearly cleaner from the driver's seat than this particular side, which is really, really interesting and intriguing. So again, just some spots here. So what we're going to be doing here, I'm going to foam down the car with a nice pH neutral shampoo. If you're curious what we're going to be using today, that is going to be DIY Details Incredible Suds. Still playing around with soaps with my new AR635 up here, which has been a little bit of a pain in the butt trying to figure out foam cannons. So using something that's very concentrated will work great. So we're going to do the foam rinse foam mentality on this. So we're going to foam it, let it dwell, let it eat that dirt and grime. We'll rinse it. That'll give us a first look at any of the hydrophobics. It was kind of a mix of snow and rain today. So definitely here in Colorado, we haven't had our fair share of snow, at least here in the Front Range. So I would assume probably a lot of oils and grime coming off of the road, that traffic film as we call it, especially down the sides as the back end. But it'll be really interesting to check out the hydrophobics. And again, I'm going to bring you guys this series for the lifetime that I actually have this car. It'll be really, really fun to check out. Then after we rinse it off, we'll refoam it again, do a quick contact wash, just check everything out. We'll dry the car. We're not using any drying aids here. I don't want to affect the coatings whatsoever. So all you're ever going to see on this car pH neutral shampoo or an alkaline based pre-wash on here if it actually needs it, and then an acidic wash if we ever get some pretty nasty water spots. But I'm not introducing anything else on here. Don't want to deal with detail sprays, don't want to deal with anything that could possibly change the coatings. I want to truly see which one is the actual best. All right guys, so we've got our foam cannon loaded up here. Now what I also forgot to mention in the intro, I'm going to attempt to make some sort of chart that you guys can open up and it'll show every single coating on every single area. It'll help me keep track of it. It'll help you guys keep track of it. Maybe I can do some stuff in post to actually help you guys out to see what's what here. Again, this is just a first little test. I'm not expecting to see a huge difference here, but we'll see after our first wash if we notice any difference in hydrophobics. All right guys, so I got to play first off here with my Griot's Garage. I literally went through probably 750 milliliters. I didn't use a metering tip. I'm just playing around with that. So we're just screwing around here, but see something already interesting here? So again, this is the Adams graphene glass coating versus the Armor Detail Supplies glass coating. Already seeing a huge difference. You can already see it down the side windows as well. Adams really beating off all of that heavy snow foam versus over here, you have quite a bit more, which is quite intriguing. Now I'm curious to see what the back looks like. Honestly, about the same, which is really pretty interesting. You would expect to see Adams do that if it was the same for each of those. And again, we did one layer on the side windows, back windows, 2 layers for each of them up front there. Pretty interesting though. Over here, we've got the Adams graphene coating, and you can really see it's actually really sheeting off the coating or the snow foam quite well. Back here we've got Armor Detail Supplies Pro coating. We've got Clean by PM, the organizers coating here, and Armor Detail Supplies quartz coating. On this side over here, we've got the Adams Pro line coating, which is pretty darn interesting. And then splitting this door, already seeing a big difference here. So this is C-Quartz UK 3.0. This is Pan's coating here, Armor Detail Supplies Pro, Armor Detail Supplies regular coating. This, if I remember right, Crystal Serum Light, Infinite Base Type 1, Pan's coating, ADS Pro, ADS Non-Pro, C-Quartz UK. I don't remember on these two. I think this is Base Type 1 and Moe's, and then Crystal Serum Light and EXO on top of Crystal Serum Light. Pretty interesting results so far. Already actually seeing a different in quite a few of these coatings than I actually expected. The glass is really interesting. This doesn't tell the whole story. I just want to show you guys the difference here. And again, we'll see the hydrophobics. We'll see over time if the car gets dirtier, less dirtier in areas, how the coatings hold up. They're all going to go through the same thing. And again, how I've done this, I think I've done it very fair to put some of the coatings down the sides, and the ones that are on the top areas, like the hood here, are actually on the sides and on the back end as well, which is pretty darn interesting. Up here also I did Crystal Serum Light on this side of the hood, all of the A, B, C spoiler pillars, not spoiler pillar, and then Armor Detail Supplies over there. So actually seeing a little bit of difference. It's hard to tell. Again, it's just snow foam here, but pretty interesting. You can see how this has just fully sheeted off this side. And then again, still clinging on back here. This is what I love. This is so different, so interesting. You can see how the soap's clinging over here more than on Pans than it is on ADS. And yeah, what's really interesting here, again, seeing a huge difference. I love this kind of stuff. That's why this test is so freaking cool. All right, guys, so I think at most of the point here, we really need to rinse down the vehicle because most of it's getting pretty dry. If you have some feedback on how you think I should film this or label things or do stuff like that, I'm very open to listening to you guys because I want this to be as good for you as it is for me. And I just think this is a really fun test, and we all get to see together what actually works the best. So let's get rinsing the hood here. I'm already noticing some different stuff here. So this is just Crystal Serum Light. That's Crystal Serum Light with XOV5 on it. See how it's a little slower to sheet? Pretty interesting. So again, seeing the same thing here with Crystal Serum Light down here versus Crystal Serum Light back here with XOV5 on top of it, which is pretty interesting. Again, you can go back to the install instructions on this. These have all had the same exact time to cure. Pretty interesting stuff going on so far. You're noticing this is sheeting a little bit more rather than beading. This has very heavy amounts of beads on it. Both ADS and PANS coating have great hydrophobics in them. You can really see how it brings the water off of the surface. Again, this is a huge flow pressure washer, over 3 gallons per minute. So you will start to see some of these coatings definitely as we get farther into this test. We'll struggle a little bit more with hydrophobics, and they'll start to not necessarily sheet, but you'll see the water be able to kind of hold a little bit more in that particular area. These two coatings and ADS regular down here performing really, really well. I'm also really impressed with Adams over here. Let me give you a little snapshot of what this looks like. I mean, those are some really, really nice tight beads on there. Really evacuates the water quite quickly. Pretty darn nice there. All right, let's come down this side here. This is the coolest frickin' test I've ever done because I'm already starting to see some differences. C-Quartz over here having a little bit harder time evacuating the water versus PANS coating here, as well as versus the Adams Pro line back here. Both the ADS coatings looking absolutely phenomenal here. And The CSL up here, again, sheeting. I was also noticing on the roof, it was starting to sheet a little bit. And I think that just might be the characteristic of the coating. Really, the XOV5 is the hydrophobic layer on top of it. But pretty interesting to see this. I'm just ecstatic we're actually doing this test. What I'm gonna do real quick, I'm gonna refoam down the car. I'm gonna give it a quick hand wash, the 2-bucket method here, and then I'll walk you through a quick little rinse here. I'll just go quite quickly, but I'll hold it so you guys can see a little bit up close of each particular coating. Hey Colton, just FYI, when you make a YouTube video, you need to press record. That was my mistake, so I've already rinsed down this front part, but I'll quickly show you through all of these. Again, I just did a quick little hand wash on these, but I'll show you a little bit up close here. So again, ADS normal, Pro, Pans, and then base type 1. Down here we've got Adams, CSL by itself, CSL with EXO, and Geon Mo's Evo. All the coatings on the hood looking phenomenal. Honestly, you can't really tell these things apart. They look pretty much identical. I think you'll see that for a long time throughout this test. Now we'll see some more interesting stuff come up. So down here, Geon Mo's Evo. This brings up an interesting topic. So I've noticed this before on headlights, that coatings specifically where the headlight beam is don't like to stick, or they either quickly degrade because of the heat on there. And this is something I've noticed for years. I don't think I've ever actually seen anybody talk about it. And what's really interesting is you'll see on the other side, it does exactly the same thing. So you can clearly see CSL there without EXO on top of it has a little bit of sheeting behavior there, which is really interesting. It's not to say it's bad. It's not to say the coating's dead or anything like that yet, but really interesting differences so far. You can see that literally right there where the headlight beam is, because this is the low beam here, that's high beam up there. Pretty interesting stuff. Moving over here to ADS wheel coating. Wow. That is some impressive hydrophobics there from ADS. Really impressive stuff. C-quartz right here. Geon Infinite base type 1 Pro coating, and Geon Mo's here. Again, the water behavior differences are so cool to see. It's slightly different because they're different panels and stuff like this. And again, this pressure washer up here will overwhelm a lot of coatings, so it'll be really interesting to check out. See, even that glass coating there, very much overwhelming it. You can see exactly that line there down the center where crystal serum light is XOV5. CSL is the biggest surprise to me so far. Again, it's not to say it's bad, it's just really interesting to check out. So a lot of times, guys, when you see that first initial kind of flooding of the panel, we're still rinsing away some of the surfactants of the soap on there. But Adams is really impressive here. This is their Graphene Advanced, and down here is CarPro Deluxe on the wheel. That's also looking really, 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 really nice. All right, back here. You can see both of those glass coatings really getting flooded there. You see the water evacuation much, much quicker over here on the Adams than Armor Detail Supplies. Pretty interesting stuff, folks. I love this test. I frickin' love it. Adams Pro line. Look at them tight beads on that. And just really, I mean, you can see that panel is pretty much dry, pretty nuts. Oh, look at that. You can really see Seacort's UK back here, UK 3.0 Pans coating, having a little bit harder time evacuating all that water. Whoa, that's cool. That's really cool. Back here, G-Technic C5 wheel armor. Interesting. So the least beating coating I've seen on the wheels so far kind of does a similar thing to CSL here, how it kind of starts sheeting a little bit and then you'll kind of see those beads come back. Really intriguing here. And then we got ADS Pro, ADS Normal. Pretty impressive there. And again, this is CSL. Watch this bottom area down here. Let's see if it came back a little. You can really see CSL has a little bit of a hard time, kind of similar to Seacort's back there evacuating that water. Pretty interesting. Pans coating here on the wheel. Looks as good as the passenger side. Guys, this test is so exciting. I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I am, but dang, this is awesome. So I'm gonna go through, I'm just gonna towel dry this. Again, no drying aids, no waterless washes, no rinseless washes, nothing. We're not adding anything. I'm just gonna use the Rag Company liquidator towels here, wipe it down. All right guys, so we've gone through, we've rinsed the vehicle. Now it's time to dry. I'm not gonna take you through that whole thing. We're gonna use the Rag Company liquidator towels. No sort of drying aid, waterless washes, rinseless washes, anything that could affect the ceramic coatings here. So let's do that and I'll give you my final thoughts from our very, very interesting first week wash. All right guys, we just dried up the EV6 now. Looking nice and sparkly yet again. Absolutely love the paint color on this car, by the way. Ivory silver. In the bright sunshine, it is just a beautiful crisp silver, and then you'll pick up these yellow highlights in the metallics. It's a really, really sharp color. So I got to tell you guys, I know I've said it a few times in this video, I'm really having fun. I really, really like doing this test, and honestly, I wish I would have done one earlier. Man, oh man, is it a ton of work. But again, I think it's really fun. So a couple of things I want to take away from this, and I want you to think about and consider. I am not here to make any one of these coating companies look bad, nor on the flip side am I here to make them look good. All of these were installed per the manufacturer's recommendations with fresh bottles. Most of them I purchased with my own money. The ones that were given to me by said manufacturers doesn't change how I feel. If it's the first one to fail, I'm going to tell you that's the first one to fail. But again, understand, I am not here to intentionally make these coatings fail prematurely. You have to understand this is a car of which I often am showing customers, you know, around the shop here. This car is here. I don't want to have a car that's completely destroyed. That's not fun at all. So I'm going to continue to wash this, maintain it properly. It's going to get washed, but it's also going to get daily driven and used. So it's going to be driven in the snow. It's going to sit outside. It's going to get rained on. And there will be times where I'm going to go maybe a week without washing it when it actually needed it a week ago. That's reality. I have to run a business. I have to have a life here. But again, I'm not intentionally here to make these coatings fail early. I don't think that's good for anybody. I don't think it tells us a relevant story, because anytime you are putting a coating on your car, whether you're doing it at home, whether you're paying a professional, you should understand coatings need maintenance. This is not magic snake oil that you wipe on your car and you never have to wash your freaking car again. If you are being sold it as that, I would run as far away as you possibly can. And again, going back to the durability claims on coatings, I am just not a big believer in that. There are way too many variables down to the prep, the install, how the car was cured. You know, in this particular case, some of these coatings didn't fully technically cure. They say 7 days, but reality is this is a daily driver. I got to drive this damn car. I'm not going to leave it inside. If you don't want to get your car dirty, just leave it inside, put a cover on it, and never touch it again. That sounds pretty lame though, doesn't it? So I hope you guys enjoy this test. I'm very open to feedback on how you would like this filmed, as well as the frequency you would like this filmed. Do you want to see the wheels split up? Do you want to see the paint split up? Do you want to see the glass split up? Or do you like it all in one here? How's the length on the video? You guys tell me. Again, I want this series to be as much as an informative experience for me as much as it is for you. And again, I don't want to be here inflicting any variables such as, you know, intentionally trying to throw really nasty chemicals on this car when it doesn't need it. We'll probably get to a decon at some point, but I am not a huge believer in doing, you know, mechanical agitation on this to remove iron deposits if the car doesn't actually need it. Because again, now we're marring up the surface. What does that do to said coating? All of that. There's so many freaking variables that go into this. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. I will post this video as soon as I can. It's not going to be exactly at the 1 week mark. I've got some other videos in queue. I'm traveling for the next week and a half. I'm actually taking this bad boy down to my customer's house. Just finished up the detail on that this evening. It's about 11:30 at night. So understand, boys, I am here grinding my butt off, trying to get as much content for you guys. So with that, we'll see you in the next one soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.